This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members. Let's have some more news. The Lady Lake Commission on a 3-2 vote sided with the residents of Spring Arbor, who protested the possibility of welcoming a noisy neighbor. Commissioners on Monday night denied a request that would have opened the door for an auto repair shop near a new Walmart under construction at the Hammock Oaks development on County Road 466. Residents of the family community in the villages vehemently objected to the possibility of having their eardrums endure rapid-fire air guns and the sound of repeated tire changes at a proposed location of the shop at County Road 466 and Cherry Lake Road. Commissioner Trevor Roberts, who represents Spring Arbor, had set up a meeting at Town Hall between the developer of the project and residents hoping to broker a compromise. That didn't happen. Roberts announced Monday night she would be voting against the auto repair shop. "It's what my constituents want," she said. Prior to the vote, several residents of Spring Arbor went to the podium pleading with commissioners to vote against the project. Carol Herter used her phone to play a recording from Spring Arbor. There was plenty of traffic noise and the sound of construction coming from the new Walmart. She noted the Spring Arbor residents long ago learned to live with the white noise of traffic, and she said the Walmart will be finished soon. But she said the loud sudden burst coming from high-intensity pneumatic air guns would be too much for she and her fellow Spring Arbor residents to bear for their remaining years of home ownership at that community. Roberts was joined in voting against the project by Commissioners Mike Sage and Ed Regan. Mayor Ed Free and new Commissioner Amanda McLee voted for it. Well, that's because they don't live there. They don't care. Officials have rejected a plan for a 7-Eleven style store at the notoriously busy intersection. The Lady Lake Commission on Monday night voted 3-2 to deny a request for a convenience store and gas station at the intersection of Rolling Acres Road and County Road 466. I know the corner. I've done video coming back from a Jose coffee meeting or out to dinner, and I pointed it out several times. I know several businesses that tried to go in there. One of them was a doctor's office, and I believe a lawyer wanted to have an office building in there, and it was rejected. It's one of them areas to where 466 is so busy there. Rolling Acres Road is busy on both sides of 466 because it's a shortcut here in the villages, that it's almost impossible to get in the place right there, if you can imagine a parking lot there for a business, and then getting out. It's going to be a problem. The property owners has hoped to be granted a special exception to build a convenience store and gas station to include a car wash and roughly 4 acres of land on the northwest corner of the intersection, not far from Rolling Acres Sports Complex. Attorney Jim Crawford, representing the property owner CLD Properties Ltd., said the convenience store and gas station would likely be a 7-Eleven and ruled out that it could be a Wawa or racetrack due to the insufficient size of the property. As you can see back here, that's a rough drawing of where it is and what it is. They use too much room, he said. Crawford had with him a traffic engineer who tried to make the case that the 7-Eleven style store would be a better fit at the intersection than a fast food restaurant such as Chick-fil-A. They reasoned that those stopping at the 7-Eleven would be a quick in and out. The traffic engineer noted that Lady Lake has plans to expand Rolling Acres Road. It isn't supposed to start until 2049, Mayor Ed Friedman pointed out. Commissioner Ed Reagan and residents of the villages who previously served on the Lady Lake Planning Commission was unrestrained in his comments about the proposed convenience store and gas station at the intersection, which is frequently the scene of crisis. Lots. This is crazy. This is going to be a real quagmire, Reagan said. Commissioner Treva Roberts said she has spoken with Summit Medical Properties, which would be the nearest neighbor to the convenience store and gas station. They are opposed to it, Roberts said. Commissioner Amanda McClay made a motion to approve the project and allow it to move forward. However, her motion died for a lack of a second. Roberts, whose ward includes this particular property, made a motion to deny the request for the special exemption and essentially kill the project. She was joined in the majority 3-2 vote by Commissioner Reagan and Mike Sage. In 2018, there was another push to build a 7-Eleven at the same intersection. And there was some other stuff there too. I don't know what, but they've all been refused because of the traffic on both roads right there. It'll cause more crashes. There's no safe way in, no safe way out, unless something there is totally redesigned. 41 live oak trees will be removed from a 117-unit Wildwood housing development. After listening to opposition from about a half a dozen members of a local family, Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt approved a variance to allow the tree removal. I sometimes wonder if Lindsay C.T. Holt ain't under somebody's payroll. She approves everything. No matter how silly it is or where it's at, she approves everything. She also granted another variance at a meeting Tuesday of a Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board that permits removal of 2 live oak trees on another property. The Northern Pine subdivision is south of County Road 222, about 1/3 mile west of US 301, near the Pepper Tree Apartments. Right behind the Pepper Tree Apartments, the name escapes me right now, is a family development area right there that the developer here in the villages built, and all of them were sold. Now, whether he's still involved with that property or not, I couldn't tell you. I think he still is, but this makes me wonder. MXPT Land LLC, the developer, wants to remove the 41 trees because they would be endangered by the development. I got a simple answer to that. We would rather replace them than wash them out, said Tyler Counts, representing the developer. Some of the 100-year-old trees will be replaced according to Wildwood's mitigation requirements. In a letter to the city planning director, Melanie Strickland, arborist David Loy wrote that removing the trees is the best solution. He wrote that many of the trees are near proposed retention ponds or in an area impacted by wetlands and would be affected by construction activity. Members of the Castell family, owners of adjacent property, objected. These trees are of historical value and part of our rural characters, said Paul Castell, adding that Wildwood is known as the Tree City. Pam Castile Williams said removing the trees would destroy the habitat of woodpeckers, great horned owls, and other animals. We grew up in these trees, playing around and climbing them, she said. This is some of the most beautiful property left in the area. Holt also granted a variance allowing removal of 2 live oak trees for the Summerfield Cottages project on County Road 209 in Oxford. 17 live oaks will be preserved. I know that development keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. I mean, you can't hardly stop it. I understand that. I don't like it. A lot of people here don't like it, but we all know you have to accept it. But it seems to me that 41 trees, live oak trees, 100 years old and older, being removed, needs to be investigated. A man from Mexico was arrested for driving without a license after being pulled over for running a stop sign. A deputy witnessed a maroon truck traveling east on East Belt Avenue in Bushnell, crossing to the intersection without coming to a complete stop behind the stop bar around 8:10 a.m. Saturday, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. After being pulled over, 40-year-old David Hernandez Chavez stated he did not have a driver's license. He was trying to get one, but could only provide a Mexican ID card in the meantime. He had never been issued a license, the report said. Hernandez Chavez was arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. The native of Mexico was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $500 bond. A construction worker from Guatemala will be handed over to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement following his arrest in Sumter County. Elder Antonel Bakshay, 22, was driving a black 2021 GMC Yukon Denali at about noon Monday northbound on Interstate 75 when a trooper noticed he was speeding and following another vehicle too closely, according to the arrest report from the Florida Highway Patrol. A traffic stop was initiated at mile marker 312. The trooper asked Bakshay for his driver's license. Bakshay responded. That's what it says. He produced a Guatemalan consular identification card. He said he has been living in Bradenton for the past 3 years and has been working in construction. A trooper confirmed that Bakshay has never obtained a driver's license while residing in the United States. He was arrested on a charge of driving without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and will be turned over to ICE. Villagers are horrified after a black neighbor was attacked at his home in an apparent racially motivated act of aggression. The residents gathered with representatives of law enforcement for a meeting Thursday night at La Hacienda Recreation Center. No individual or group of individuals has the right to determine who can or cannot live here, said Lila Stevenson of the village of Charlotte. Technically, that's not true. I just don't want to get into it too much because of this story. We should not have to fear this kind of hateful behavior in Florida's friendliest hometown. She and her neighbors were stunned when their 81-year-old African-American neighbor in the village of Charlotte was attacked at his home this past month. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies have identified and arrested a suspect, 37-year-old Kyle David Parrish of Umatilla. Didn't even live here. The villager was at home on April 26 when he heard a knock on his door. He believed it was a lawn service worker, so the villager stepped outside through the garage. He went to speak to Parrish in the driveway. The villager did not know Parrish. "Do you think I wouldn't find you?" Parrish asked the villager. "We don't want your kind around here. Your kind is not welcome here." Parrish proceeded to punch the villager in the face. Parrish hopped into a white Ford pickup and fled the scene. The villager was able to obtain the truck's license plate number. The license plate led to Parrish's identity, and the villager who had been attacked was able to pick Parrish out of a photographic lineup. A warrant was issued for Parrish's arrest, and the attack has been classified as a hate crime. He continues to be held at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $20,000 bond. An Ocklawaha woman was arrested on a slew of drug charges as a result of a car crash investigation in the villages. Deputies responded to the crash near the Spanish Plains Shopping Center around 1:40 p.m. Tuesday, according to a arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. During the investigation, a K-9 unit alerted to the odor of narcotics in the vehicle of 44-year-old Jennifer Lee Morse. A search of the vehicle yielded multiple prescription pill bottles in the front passenger seat. These contained 3 oxycodone pills and 3 methadone pills. In the center console of the driver's seat sat 0.17 grams of marijuana and 2 marijuana smoking pipes, the arrest report said. Additionally, an unlabeled prescription bottle was determined to contain 10 grams of fentanyl over the 4 grams amount considered trafficking, the report said. Morris was arrested on charges of possession of oxycodone, methadone, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia, as well as trafficking of fentanyl. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center with bond set at $56,000. By the way, one little remark I'll make. You're going to hate me for it, but I got to do it anyway. Jennifer, if you watch anything that we do here, I want you to look at the picture really hard. You need to give it up. You're not looking good. Two villagers were arrested after allegedly attacking a suspected flag stealer. Joseph McKee, 83, of the Cottages of Summer Chase, was driving a golf cart Wednesday evening when he began abruptly and aggressively chasing another man in another golf cart in the vicinity of Village of Bel Air, according to the Arrest Department of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. McKee suspected the man had been stealing American flags over the previous 2 weeks. The American flags had been placed along a multimodal path. When the suspected flag stealer stopped at a stop sign, McKee raced up to confront him. McKee was accompanied by 70-year-old Alan Renoward, also of the Cottages of Summer Chase. They took the keys out of 67-year-old's golf cart. They also took away his phone. That's a no-no. Real quick, that's a no-no. He tried to get out of his golf cart and was immediately punched by McKay and Roward, according to the report. Both men were arrested on felony charges of battery. They were both booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after each posted $2,500 bond. That's what got him in trouble. Maybe the guy is stealing the flags. Don't know. You noticed there was nothing about it in the report. You can't be taking somebody's phone away from them. You just can't. Not in Florida anyway. A villager landed in jail after a fight with her man friend after leaving a restaurant at Lake Sumter Landing. Cheryl McCormick, 77, of the village of Della Vista, had been at the Chop House on Wednesday when she began speaking with another man who recently lost his wife, according to the Arrest Department of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. She apparently prompted a disagreement. When they were on their way home, McCormick became extremely upset and struck her 76-year-old man friend in the chest several times. McCormick was arrested on a charge of battery and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where she was initially held without bond. A son was arrested after showing up at his dead father's house in the Villages. Officers were called at about 10 a.m. Monday to a home in the 1600 block of Bay Hill Drive in the village of Orange Blossom, on the historic side of the Villages, where they found 55-year-old Charles Weiss III, according to the Arrest Department of Lady Lake Police Department. Weiss, who is homeless, had previously been banned from his father's home. In 2024, he was arrested after an altercation which prompted his father to flee the home and seek refuge at a neighbor's residence. When police found Weiss at the home on Monday, the New York native claimed his father verbally promised to give him his house after his death. The father died on April 28. Weiss also claimed his father said Weiss and his sister would become co-owners of the home. Weiss did not have any documentation to support the claim. Weiss, who had been arrested in 2024 when he was found with an illicit substance in a golf cart at Spanish Springs Town Square, was arrested on a charge of trespassing. He was booked at the Lake County Jail and later released on his own recognizance. This guy is a nut. He's been arrested so many times here, it's hard to recognize him because he changes his look all the time. He's got serious problems, and here he is again, and this is not going to be the last time that we hear from him. Oh, you thought the Morse Boulevard was a dumb subject, didn't you? Here's more. The Amenity Authority Committee has finally made a move on Morse Boulevard after heavy pressure from residents. The AAC has faced a steady stream of criticism after refusing to commit money to improve safety on the busy thoroughfare north of County Road 466. Let me just say this so I can go ahead and make everybody mad right now. I believe that the county should pay to fix that road. It's a public road. It's not a private road. So why do we want to use our amenity money, which is our money, private money, to fix a public road? Just my opinion. In April, the AAC balked at the thought of spending $2.4 million on the safety improvements on Morse Boulevard, which has seen numerous deaths through the years due to dangerous intermingling of golf carts and automobiles. This past month, a Maine snowbird died of injuries suffered days earlier when his golf cart collided with a car on Morse Boulevard. But you guys got to keep in mind, we're not talking about all of Morse Boulevard. We're talking about a small section of it, and they know what it is. When the AAC met Wednesday at Savannah Center, residents went to the podium and blasted the board for its refusal to accept an idea pitched by Sumter County Commissioner Deb Butterfield. Once again, why is a Sumter County Commissioner coming to our board meetings and talking about what we should be doing with our private money? to reach a $7 million settlement fund to pay for safety improvements on Morse Boulevard. Brad Burton of the village of Tierra del Sol said Sumter County Commissioners have steadfastly refused to admit that there is a problem on the county-owned roadway and therefore won't pay for any modifications. Burton said the continued growth of the villages has stressed that section of Morse Boulevard and said 20,000 vehicles a day are traveling on that stretch of the road. He said the deceased victims of the crash on Morse Boulevard are being entirely saddled with the blame for their ultimate demise. Sounds like a bunch of political rhetoric to me. Golf carts, bicycles, pedestrians utilizing the adjacent multimodal path are forced perilously close to the traffic with only a painted line to separate them. Not to mention the dangerous crossing and merging conflicts that no longer match the roadway's use, said Burton. This is not simply due to user failure, as many times previously argued by Sumter County. This has been shown to be a system design failure that they approved. He and other residents urge the AAC to work with Sumter County to find a solution. I got one for you. Take him to court. However, AAC member Jim Vaccaro reiterated his firm position that the county should pay for any improvements and it shouldn't be something funded by residents' amenity money. I agree. These are not public funds, says Vaccaro, who has advocated for years for safety improvements on Morse Boulevard. They are private funds. Yes, they are. But the drumbeat from the residents has been urging AAC to meet somewhere in the middle with Sumter County. We don't have to meet anywhere in the middle with Sumter County. It's not our road. It's a county road. It's a taxpayer-funded road. AAC member Don Kempa made a motion to move forward with a previously discussed $1.53 million safety option. However, the AAC's lawyer suggested it might be a better option to empower him to sit down with county officials and discuss potential options, as a majority of AAC members are finally ready to consider options in partnership with the county. The AAC voted 5-1 in favor of that approach, with Vaccaro casting the lone dissenting vote. This is going to be a mistake. A man with a criminal history was arrested with drugs on the historic side of the villages. William Machuca Jr., 47 of Fruitland Park, was riding a bicycle at about 1 a.m. Saturday in the area of Dustin Drive and Devon Drive in the village of Silver Lake when an officer initiated a traffic stop because the bicycle did not have proper lights for night riding, according to the arrest report from the Lady Lake Police Department. The officer learned that Machuca was wanted on a Sumter County warrant charging him with a probation violation. The officer also found that Machuca had 1.28 grams of methamphetamine in a small bag in his right front pocket. He was arrested on a charge of drug possession, and due to the probation violation, he was booked without bond at the Lake County Jail. The New York native has been arrested in 2024 when he entered a local restaurant while wearing a military uniform. A golf cart driver suspected of driving under the influence tried to flee from law enforcement after he was found at a church in the villages. A Sumter County Sheriff's deputy was on patrol at about 10:30 p.m. Thursday when he noticed a golf cart backed into a tree line at New Covenant United Methodist Church, which is located behind Southern Trace Plaza. Sitting in the golf cart was 41-year-old Kenneth Carta of Steger, Illinois, who was identified by his Illinois driver's license according to the arrest report. His speech was slurred, and he initially attempted to ignore the deputy. There were open alcohol containers near the golf cart. Carter became agitated when the deputy began asking him questions. Carter turned on the golf cart and attempted to flee the scene. He drove about 20 feet but appeared to have difficulty operating the golf cart. He was ordered to get out of the golf cart. Carter stepped out of the golf cart, and the deputy could see that Carter was unsteady on his feet. However, he got back into the golf cart and began to drive away again. A second deputy arrived on the scene and began to pursue the golf cart in a squad car. I'm picturing this cartoon in my head. Carter, who had the golf cart in reverse, ran into a tree. He got out of the golf cart and began to flee on foot. He ran through some shrubbery, prompting the second deputy to threaten to taser Carter. He put up his hands and surrendered. That's probably the only smart thing you did. He refused to take part in the field sobriety exercise and would not submit to a breath test. He was arrested on charges of driving under the influence, refusal to submit to a breath test, loitering, fleeing to elude, and resisting arrest. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where Illinois and Indiana have put holds on his detention. In 2022, police in Beecher, Illinois noticed that Carter was driving a vehicle and he was on his cell phone. An officer tried to initiate a traffic stop, but Carter fled from police. He was apprehended later in the day. I swear, I don't know what to say anymore. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement placed a hold on a man from Mexico for driving with a license suspended for DUI. An officer spotted 35-year-old Marcus Solana Martinez headed south on U.S. Highway 301 Wednesday morning, according to the narrative report from the Wildwood Police Department. He was using a red Dodge Ram to tow a trailer with plants in the back despite having a suspended license. After being stopped near the village of Fenney, he admitted that he did not have a driver's license. He instead handed over a Mexican driver's license. A subsequent check of his driving history revealed his license had been suspended for DUI in 2021. He had also refused to submit to a DUI testing, along with 2 non-judgment suspensions, the report said. Solana Martinez was then arrested on charges of driving while license suspended for DUI. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where ICE put a hold on him. There's a new hospital coming to town. Advent Health has announced plans to build a new 80-bed hospital in the southern end of the Villages. The hospital will be part of Legacy Place, a new 700-acre mixed-use development planned along with Florida Turnpike near County Road 470 and Central Parkway. The project is a collaboration with Florida-based Benderson Development and the Villages and is expected to include retail, dining, and business space. The Advent Health Hospital anchoring the development on 25 acres. The region is quickly growing, and that kind of growth brings both opportunity and responsibility, said Rob Denninger, CEO of the Advent Health East Florida Division. We're planning for what families will need not just today, but years from now, making sure the medical infrastructure keeps pace with the lives being built here. This will strengthen how people receive care across the region, helping connect care and reduce the need for travel. As long as we can get a golf cart there, we're good. Legacy Place is expected to be developed in phases, with early components projected to open in 2027. Construction on the hospital is expected to begin in 2027, with an opening projected in 2030. This is an amazing opportunity for the Villages, Benderson Development, and Advent Health to come together and create something extraordinary for our community, said Robert Chandler, the 4th CEO of the Villages. No, that is not a family member. Did you catch it? Legacy Place will bring a variety of new retail experiences and with the reputation of providing first-class care. Advent Health will have a significant impact on the health and well-being of our villagers and the surrounding area. It didn't say if there's going to be a trauma center out there, so I guess we'll have to wait for other reports. Here's an update on an arrest that happened, I think like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. A 2-time cancer survivor has described the lasting scars of a neighbor's attack in the Villages. The woman was attacked March the 3rd, 2025 by 67-year-old Diane Lynn Carpentieri in the Carlton Villas in the village of Sable Chase. The woman had a chance to lay out the toll the attack has taken prior to Carpentieri's sentencing hearing this past week in Sumter County Court. The woman, who stands 4 feet 10 inches tall and weighs 99 pounds, had been taking out her garbage at about 6:30 p.m. that evening when Carpentieri began a verbal altercation about the pressure washing job that had taken place at their side-by-side courtyard villas. Carpentieri grabbed the other woman's right arm with a lot of pressure and twisted it behind her back, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The arrest report indicated that Carpentieri stands 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 180 pounds. The woman described Carpentieri as significantly larger than herself. Following the assault, the neighbor was in a state of shock. She sought emergency care the next morning and was referred to an orthopedic specialist. That was just the beginning. 10 days later, she was hospitalized for a stress-induced event. I thought I was having a heart attack, she said. Medical professionals concluded that the acute stress from the assault was a primary contributing factor to the subsequent cardiac event. She felt unsafe in her own home and moved in with a friend for more than a month. She said Carpentieri continued to live next door to one another. I am now afraid to perform basic tasks, such as taking out the trash, maintaining my property, washing my vehicle, carrying in my groceries, etc. I suffer from heightened anxiety when entering or exiting my vehicle or standing in my front yard. I experienced ongoing sleep depressions and persistent loss of sense of security my home once provided. Carpenteri pleaded no contest to a charged battery. After reviewing the victim's impact statement, Judge Mary Hatcher sentenced the former New Yorker to 2 years of probation. I'm not a lawyer, but I believe the victim could probably go after Carpenteri for monetary settlement. Here's another old story, but here's the update on it. A villager won't face prosecution in an alleged stalking incident. The prosecutor's office announced earlier this month that it won't be pursuing a case against 62-year-old Andrew Cecil Benj of the village of Bridgeport at Lake Sumter. The case is being dropped due to the victim witness issues. The Cedar Rapids, Iowa native was originally arrested in 2020 after allegedly stalking his estranged girlfriend multiple times. Benj is accused of showing up at her parents' home in the Villages. He also reportedly approached her at a restaurant and stood over her and yelled, "This is the Villages, whore." The woman claimed his behavior traumatized her to the point that she was experiencing restlessness and required medication. Benj also had been arrested twice in Kansas for violating an order of protection. Anger issues. Officials said they would like to have answers about the upcoming closure of a restaurant in the Villages. Amenity Authority Committee member Donna Kempa said she has learned that the Tierra del Sol Bar and Grill will be shutting down on May 15th. Amenity Authority Committee member Donna Kempa says she has learned that the Tierra del Sol Bar and Grill will be shutting down. She and her fellow AAC members at Wednesday's meetings at Savannah Center expressed concerns about the future of the restaurant. She and her fellow AAC members at Wednesday's meeting at Savannah Center expressed concerns about the future of the restaurant building, which is located next to the AAC-owned Tierra del Sol Recreation Center. Residents are concerned about the closure of the restaurant and bar, a popular watering hole for golfers. People are asking, what is the future of that restaurant, said AAC member Jim Vaccaro. AAC member William Williamson said the scuttlebutt is that a couple of major restaurant operators in the Villages took a look and took over Tierra del Sol and Grill, but ultimately decided to pass. I guess they were thinking about taking it over. So it'd probably be the Solomon Group or FMK. He said those restaurant operators found the kitchen was too small. Kemper said the air conditioning went out of the restaurant and the developer opted not to fix it. She said that was an obvious sign that the end was near. For those of you that don't live here but you're thinking about that, none of this that I'm reading is the first time this has happened. This has happened multiple times. The future of the restaurant was also in doubt in 2013 when the Villages tried to sell it to the Amenity Authority. The offer from the developer came at a time when the AAC was considering a renovation of the Tierra del Sol Recreation Center. However, AAC members were feeling the wrath of residents after paying the developer $350,000 for the El Santiago Club and Restaurant building. That was a fiasco. That building was in such poor shape it had to be torn down at further expense to the residents. The arrival of a studio theater at Tierra del Sol brought a resurgence to Tierra del Sol Bar and Grill as it became the place to go for dinner and drinks before a show. However, the studio theater at Tierra del Sol, which was founded by Mark Morris's daughter, Whitney, has been rebranded as the Sig Pro Studio and relocated to the Lake Sumter Landing. The former theater space at Tierra del Sol is now vacant. What do you think? Here's a little story from a resident about his water and his concerns about water. Joseph DeMaio spent more than 30 years working in water and wastewater treatment in Rhode Island. He's alarmed at what he sees in his home watering filter system in the Villages. The cottages of Summer Chase resident who worked for more than 3 decades in the water department for the, Narragansett Bay Commission in the Ocean State is worried about what may be floating in the water system in Florida's friendliest hometown. A home watering filter system that was supposed to last for 3 to 4 months was installed in his home for less than 2 months. It started out ivory white and now a dark brown, full of iron, rust, and other sediments. He showed the dirty filter Friday to the Community Development District 3 Board of Supervisors during a meeting at Savannah Center. To me, to anybody, that's not acceptable. If I didn't have this filtration system in my house, I would not be aware of what I was drinking, he said with the supervisors. Most villagers, most of my neighbors have no idea what they are drinking. Oh yeah, they do. Everybody drinks bottled water. I don't think anybody drinks water out of the faucet anymore. But we don't know where the source is, said DeMaio, who said he's been asking plenty of questions but not getting any answers. We don't know where our water is coming from. Well, I did video on the water treatment system by Nova, and I talked to the owner of Nova, I believe for here in the Villages, and his son, and he told us exactly where you get your water tested, how you can do it, and just take the stuff in. It's all free, and they will analyze your water and tell you exactly what's in there, how good it is, how bad it is, so on and so forth. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. He said if he was in his former water management role in Rhode Island, the sight of such dirty filters would be a cause for alarm. We would have addressed this ASAP, he said. The cottages of Summer Chase are located within the Little Sumter Service Area, which serves approximately 25,000 residents in Community Development Districts 2, 3, and 4. LSSA compromises 117 miles of potable water mains, 939 fire hydrants, 127 miles of sanitary sewer mains, 30 miles of sanitary forced mains, 2,121 manholes, and 16 lift stations. LSSA is regulated by the Southwestern Florida Water Management District for water use and Florida Department of Environmental Protections, Orlando for water and wastewater treatment and distribution. Let's have some more news. A golf cart driver suspected of driving under the influence tried to flee from law enforcement after he was found at a church in the Villages. A Sumter County Sheriff's deputy was on patrol at about 10:30 p.m. Thursday when he noticed a golf cart backed into the tree line at the new Covenant United Methodist Church, which is located behind Southern Trace Plaza. Sitting in the golf cart was 41-year-old Kenneth Carta of Steger, Illinois, who was identified by his Illinois driver's license according to a arrest report. His speech was slurred and he initially attempted to ignore the deputy. There were open alcohol containers near the golf cart. Carta became agitated when the deputy began asking him questions. Carta turned on the golf cart and attempted to flee the scene. He drove about 20 feet, but appeared to have difficulty operating the golf cart. He was ordered to get out of the golf cart. Carta stepped out of the golf cart, and the deputy could see that Carta was unsteady on his feet. However, he got back into the golf cart and began to drive away again. A second deputy arrived on the scene and began to pursue the golf cart in a squad car. Carta, who had the golf cart in reverse, ran into a tree. He got out of the golf cart and began to flee on foot. He's unsteady on his feet. Now he's trying to run away after running into a tree. He ran through some shrubbery, prompting the second deputy to threaten to taser him. He put his hands up and surrendered. Good boy. He refused to take part in field sobriety exercises and would not submit a breath sample. That's his right. He was arrested on charges of driving under the influence, refusal to submit a breath test, loitering, fleeing to elude, and resisting arrest. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where Illinois and Indiana had put a hold on his detention. In 2022, police in Beecher, Illinois, noticed that Carter was driving a vehicle and he was on his cell phone. An officer tried to initiate a traffic stop, but Carter fled from police. He was apprehended later in the day. An 81-year-old villager was arrested after allegedly striking a woman at a country club. Gene Richard Benton of the village of Bridgeport at Laurel Valley was arrested on the felony charge of battery on a person over the age of 65 on Saturday night at Palmer Legends. Benton got mad while they were exiting the restaurant and he smacked her in the face. She fell to the ground and suffered a laceration on her neck. She said she'd lost her balance and did not want to see Benton arrested. She signed a waiver of prosecution. However, two independent witnesses told deputies that they saw Benton punch the woman, which caused her to fall to the ground. The report did not disclose the nature of the relationship between Benton and the 79-year-old woman. Benton was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. The New Bern, North Carolina native was released after posting a $1,500 bond. So those of you that think that they will not arrest an elderly person and put him in jail, this story is just one of thousands that proves you wrong. Villagers are mourning the loss of the Tierra del Sol Bar and Grill and are offering ideas to do something to quench the thirst of golfers. I think you're missing the point of why they had two major restaurant owners and corporations here, went and looked at that restaurant to keep it open. Both of them declined the restaurant for the reasons that you guys are talking about that have nothing to do with why they declined renting that restaurant or maybe buying it. It was because they said the kitchen was way too small. As a golfer and a resident of the northern section of the Villages, it is rather disturbing that yet another restaurant is closing in the area. Tierra del Sol is a staple in the Spanish Springs area. No, it's not. It's not a staple at all. There's restaurants all over Spanish Springs. You're saying the Spanish Springs area. Well, you're really quite a ways from Spanish Springs downtown. And it's not a staple at all. It's a staple for the Tierra del Sol, De La Vista, and since they got rid of the Hacienda Country Club over there, it's probably the only nearby restaurant for people that live there. I'll go along with that. But a staple, I don't think so. My opinion. It's always my opinion. Many of my fellow neighbors, as well as myself, are quite saddened by the slow and underdevelopment of restaurants in Spanish Springs area, particularly at the square, said villager Sherry Colleran. Well, let me just say something about that. These remarks this person's making is really tilted to one side. I was just up at Spanish Springs restaurant up there. Went to what's called Americanos over there in the corner. And there is a lot of remodeling going on around town. Granted, I will not dispute that at all. And it's going all over town. I mean, it's just everywhere. But there's restaurants that are up there, a lot of them. I don't know how many are open and how many are not open as of right now because of all that remodeling going on in the town. But we went to Americanos. It was no big deal. We got right in and we had food there and it was very good. And as far as the other restaurants go, there's quite a few around there. The exercise center over there has a restaurant just inside. Somebody told me. I've never been to that one either. There's a one over there on the corner from the square. It used to be, it's an Italian restaurant. It's there. You got Flippers. You got the one by the bowling alley. They're known for their fried chicken. That's their that restaurant's been there for 20 years. I can't think of the name of it either. I don't go to Spanish Springs that much. You got the Mexican restaurant, July or something like that down there on the corner. All kinds of restaurants in the Spanish Springs area. You got Ruby Tuesdays. You got Panera Bread. So there's a lot of restaurants in the Spanish Springs area, and then he says that there's not very many. Well, there is. She and countless others are saddened that the Tierra del Sol Bar and Grill will be closing its doors this week. So what's next? The Amenity Authority Committee does not appear to have an appetite for buying the building and merging it into the existing recreation complex. Now villagers are offering their ideas. I think they should fix what needs fixing and sell it to someone. Well, that sounds simple, but do you know how much it's going to cost to fix what needs fixing? It's more than just the air conditioner. Golfers at Hacienda and Tierra need somewhere to go after golf, especially in the summer, said villager Kathy Joseph. Janet Mulaney agrees that golfers will be parched in the summer heat and will need some place to go. Please put a food shack at Tierra del Sol so the golfers can at least have a place to gather, to check their scores, and maybe have a beer. That is also desperately needed at the Hacienda. These championship courses are being degraded, she said. Denise Suzik of the village of Santo Domingo is envisioning something much livelier. Let's turn the area into a northern Edna's on the Green. Food trucks, afternoon music, canned beverages. With very little effort, that area could be transformed into the new geezers, and old golfers would both be satisfied. No building renovations, just outside rearranging. This would be a very low-cost option, she said. Well, she got a point, so what do you guys think? Do you think that would work up there? I like the idea that she's got here about turning it into another Edna's on the Green. Problem is, you got a building there. What are you going to do with the building? You tear it down, and then what? Well, where's the Edna's on the Green? Where's the trees? Where's the grass? I mean, there's got to be a vision here. It all sounds simple until you get really right down to the discussion of how much is it going to cost? What do we do with this? How are we going to do that? And it's a process that it just doesn't sound feasible to me right now. I don't know what they're going to do there. I have no idea what they're going to do there. Let's face it, the restaurant at Tierra del Sol has always been kind of a problem for many, many years. And I think it's coming to a head. They don't make any money there. You cannot pay the rent, pay the lights, pay the heating bill, all this stuff, selling beer or drinks. You know, it just can't be done. So good luck. That's all I got to say is good luck with the project. Okay, how many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? 3. Let's see who they are. Villager Diane Ruggiero got a hole-in-one Tuesday, May 5th at hole number 18 at the Marsh View Pitch and Putt. It was her second hole-in-one. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Diane. A villager celebrated after getting his third hole-in-one. Scott Heckler of the village of Orange Blossom Gardens scored the lucky ace on Friday, May 1 at Kenya, number 7 at the Havana Championship Golf Course. Every hole-in-one is a special memory, he said. You are absolutely correct, Scott, and congratulations on your hole-in-one. Steve Binda got a hole-in-one April 23rd at hole number 2 at Bonifay, Fort Walton at 135 yards. It was his third hole-in-one for the village of Charlotte. It was his second lucky ace at Bonifay. Well, Steve, congratulations on your third hole-in-one. What a great day. Okay, let's move on to everybody's favorite, letters to the editor. To the editor. I also have a full house water filter system. My filters are filthy within 1 to 2 months. They start out white and are soon full of dirt and particles. I do not drink from my house faucet, but use only the water double filtered through my refrigerator. By the way, that's not exactly true, but I won't touch on that. I'll let you find out. I requested a visit from the village's water people and was told my filter was too strong. People are drinking this water. What is the quality in the newer area? And that's sent in by Barbara Witcher from the village of Gilcrest. I got a couple of questions about what she just said because color me dumb. I got a visit from the village's water people. Who is that? Villages don't have a water department. Your water comes from probably Jacobs. Mine comes from Jacobs, and I think almost everybody down here. Now, if you're in the far north, you're in Gilcrest. I'm really not 100% sure exactly how far north that is, but I think you're Jacobs. You're not. The villages don't have a water department here. So I don't know who, when you say the villages, water people, I don't even know who that is. Said my filters are too strong. Well, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know who your filtering system is. Where did it come from? Who installed it? I have no idea. My filtering system comes from Nova for several reasons, but one of the reasons is the old man that owns that. We had him on my show one time. We talked to him. He told us all about it, told us all kinds of stuff. You can get your water tested for free. It just takes a sample, you take it in, drop it off, and then they send you the results back in, I don't know, a few days or something. And his son lives here also. It's called Nova Water Filters. Call them, get the whole house water filter, and then you can get other things to add on to that if you want to, like a water softener or whatever. But if nothing else, get the whole house water filtering system. And they come out and they test your water. They find out what you need. They put in the filters. They'll come back in, I don't even know, but a month or two or whatever. They check them out. They make adjustments if they have to. I've had it now for 11 years. And since they've got it all set up, I've never had a problem with anything. Now, the dark water that they keep talking about, I have a feeling it comes from another county, like maybe Marion County, maybe. But either or, it doesn't make any difference. We're in the middle of a drought. A lot of the water here, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it gets filtered or nothing like that. But I'm just wondering if possibly the water is getting dirtier and maybe getting darker because of the drought. We have ponds up in our historical area up there. Jose took me up there the other day and showed it to me. It was a big lake, huge lake with a big waterfall in the middle of it, man-made waterfall, but it was there. That place is dry. There's nothing there anymore. Is that what's happening? Are we getting mud and stuff in our lines? I don't know. Water people from the villages, send me an email. It's in the description box below of every video. G1REMP2Y. Send me an email and let me know who the village's water people are, along with a phone number that you used. I'll call and find out. And I'll record the phone call. I've done it before. Thanks for the letter. To the editor. With 2 related individuals owning an ever-growing number of villages' restaurants, it has allowed higher prices to prevail. Competition would greatly improve the quality and service and product offered. That's sent in by John Collins from the village of Sunset Point. I can't argue, John. I've been talking about this for a long time. I'm not saying these people don't know what they're doing in the restaurant business. Obviously they do because they're here and they've been here for a long time. The Solomon Brothers is one. FMK Foods is the other one. And they have been here for a long time. I don't think they've ever left the restaurant once they started it. They keep them, they keep moving, they keep making money, or they wouldn't be here. And I can see why the developer likes to do business with these kind of people, because the rent comes due and they pay it. And that's why they do what they do. But I can't argue with what you're saying, because what you're saying is exactly what I've talked about for years now. I like the idea of many restaurants in the villages, not just around the villages, because some people only travel by golf cart for a lot of physical reasons. And so if you don't have any of these restaurants inside the villages, which we probably never will, you'll never see a Burger King or a Wendy's or a McDonald's in the villages. I know you're going to say, yes, there are some in the villages. I know there are. That's not what I'm talking about. Those places buy that little plot of land and they build that building and it belongs to them. But the ones downtown in all the square areas, you'll never see a McDonald's down there. You'll never see any of these restaurants down there, because the rent, the developer is in control of all of that stuff down there. And so that's why you're not going to see it. And I don't think you'll ever will. But I do take heed with what you're saying. It is exactly true. I'm not even going to argue about it. I'll just simply say, well done. Here's an extra one that I'm going to read because it's just got information in it that maybe you don't know. I didn't know until I did my taxes, and then I started questioning things, and then they told me, and what this person is saying is exactly right. And if you don't know, then listen up. To the editor, the rules for taxing Social Security have not changed. Did many seniors pay less in the taxes this year? Yes. The Big Beautiful Bill added $6,000 to the standard deduction for seniors 65 and older and earning $75,000 or less for an individual, $150,000 or less for a couple. It gradually phases out for income above those levels and is only in effect from 2025 through 2028. That's sent in by Bernadette Alley from the village of Mira Mesa. She's correct about that. You know, they kept talking about no tax on Social Security and that everybody was going to get a bigger return this year. I haven't had a tax return in years, many years, as most people here probably. I really kind of got ticked off this year because I paid almost twice the amount of taxes this year than what I did last year. And so that thing about no taxes on Social Security, they might give you that $6,000. I don't know how it's all done on the papers. I don't know what the law actually says on all that. I went to H&R Block, which I know they just basically follow the law, and they have their own little program. And is it the best in the world? Probably not. But I'm going to have to do some searching for next year because I'm going to start registering everything as a business, and I'm depreciating a lot now, cameras and things like that, which is not that much when you really get down to the brass tacks of it. But all in all, I mean, just simply say I paid almost twice the amount this year as I did last year. So there's no tax on Social Security. Didn't help me none. I must not have been in class that day. But thanks for your letter. I appreciate it. Okay, I appreciate your time this week and watching the news. If you did come to the news and watch it, thanks so much. I get emails once in a while, somebody saying, how can I support the channel, blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a lot of ways you can support this channel. It's all in the description box below. I find that seems to be this that everybody seems to have a problem with, is the description box below. If you're on your phone, below the video, there's a word there that says description. That's it. Punch description, it'll open things up and you can scroll up. There's things there. Channels that I recommend, we have a store down there where you can buy t-shirts, coffee cups and all that. I'm not saying you got to do it, but I'm saying if you buy something like that, I get a couple bucks on a t-shirt. We're working on a few more designs. I haven't really worked that hard on it because the truth of it is we don't sell that many t-shirts to even worry about. Everybody does it, and I know you as viewers are getting sick of it, so I don't really worry about it all that much. Coffee cups are nice. I got a couple of them myself, and they are pretty nice. I don't know what they cost on there. I want to say 20 bucks, but I could be wrong about that. You can become a YouTube member for as little as $5 a month. Everything on there is commercial free. I don't need commercials on there because I have your $5 a month. And I put everything on there early, mostly early. And I put things on there that if it does go on YouTube, usually you will get it first. Usually. Maybe not all. It depends on if I'm here or not. If I'm not here and I'm in a motorhome, with the lack of Wi-Fi everywhere we go, sometimes I got to do what I got to do. And so that's what happens. But generally you get things, I guarantee you on as a member, it's commercial free. so you won't have to worry about that. Or you become a Patreon member, which is my #1 recommendation right now. One, for me, Patreon is better in a lot of ways, not always for me. So right now, I've been on Patreon for a few years, and it's worked out pretty well. And you can get a membership there as little as $2 a month. The rating goes $2, $5, $10, $15, $25. Most people get on for $2, but you do what you want to do. I mean, there's no restrictions there, and you get everybody gets everything the same. Cartworks, I've been up there a couple of times. It's on YouTube now, both of them. Cartworks #1, Cartworks #2. How do you tell the difference? The color of the golf cart in the thumbnail is different. That's how you tell. So it's on there. I recommend Cartworks a lot because they do custom work for golf carts that's hard to get done anywhere else. And so I suggest to check them out. That's all, just check them out. Ira Miller, a real estate guy. Yeah, he's been supporting us now for quite a while. And I recommend his channel. If you want to know anything about buying a home, selling a home, property taxes in all 3 counties that we're in, or anything like that, Ira Miller. Go to his live on Monday, go to his videos, send him an email, call his offices, do what you want, but that's where you'll get the proper answers right there. So there's all kinds of sponsors I've got for these things. The cruise people, they're on there. They do all kinds of vacation setups. I know they do cruises. Not sure what else they do, to be honest with you, but they've been supporting the channel for a while. And I know people's gotten a hold of them to go places and do things. I might be getting a hold of them here in one of these days about a couple of things that's been on my mind. I'm just kind of curious about it. And so anyway, support my sponsors if you can and when you can, because if you support them, they support me, and that's how the world goes round. Well, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you joining. Don't forget the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the like button. I think the thumbs up and the like button is the same thing, ain't it? I think it is. I'm not sure. But you got to hit that like button. I don't know what the deal is about that like button because I don't see your end of it. I only see the creator's end of it on the computer. And so hit that like button. Find that like button. Once you find it once, you'll always know where it's at. Hit the hype button. There's supposed to be a hype button on there somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it's supposed to be on there. That's what YouTube told me anyway. So with that, I'm going to get out of here and just simply say it's like 90 degrees today, sunshine. Sue went over to Mountain Door to spend a day with Deb. I don't know what they're doing. Who knows? Go out shopping, eating. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to get some of this caught up and get it published and everything. So with that, I'm simply going to say be well, stay safe, stay alert, be alert.
And don't leave that key in that golf cart.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Hey, if you did, don't forget the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. It's totally free, doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps the channel out a lot. So thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, please subscribe. See you on the next one.